Hey there, writer friends. I want to check in with you as we do every Wednesday, right after I get out of the Sovereign Writers Circle. We meet every Wednesday at noon Eastern to write into a couple of prompts that I provide to the group and for everybody to talk about what comes through for them. We all throw our ideas into the cauldron, as we call it, at the end of every session. And it's the most energized I feel in any given week, pretty much without fail. And today, our prompts were very much rooted in the work of Bayo Akomolafe's These Wilds Beyond Our Fences. And I have been in love with this book. I have really been immersing myself in it over the last few days. I have a neck and shoulder injury that's making it really hard for me to write. So I have to lie down in my hammock and ice my back and read. And it's been the most wonderful happy accident that I've been able to be so deep into these words. I highly recommend this poetic, philosophical journey that reminds me of the stuff that I had half forgotten from my liberal arts background in college, and is also ideas that I didn't necessarily have the official terms for, but that have been very much part of my way of being. When I talk about magic and when I talk about, it's very much about the sense of we are in relationship with all that is, that this is not just a human-centric world, that we are here to be part of that interconnection, and that we're all in this constant process of becoming together. These are ideas that I can put in those words because of what I've learned from this book. And the other ideas that have really been coming through because of this book are the nature of sovereignty, and the sense that as I wrote a book I called The Sovereignty Knot, I'm realizing that the book is more about the knot than it is about the sovereignty, than I might have even fully understood consciously at the time, because we are all here on a great interconnected journey, as I said, and we are all in our own personal power, and our own personal agency is always in relationship with the people around us, the words that we use, the words that we read. Our entire relationship with the earth and society affects how our sovereignty can be expressed. So I could go on about that for ages, but I want to anchor us into what the prompts were in today's Sovereign Writers Circle. I offered two, as I always do. And the first one is about the power of language. And I got that prompt directly from a quote that Akomolafe had in his book from a feminist philosopher named Karen Barand. I'd never heard of her work before. I'm completely inspired to dive in and learn more about what she does. She's an academic on the West Coast who's been writing some really interesting feminist commentary that takes us way beyond some of the commonly accepted concepts. This quote by Karen Barand: "Language has been granted too much power." Whoa. As a writer, as an author, as a writing coach, as someone who facilitates writing for people all the time, language has been granted too much power. Wow. That resonates in the core as much as it makes me want to say, hey, wait a minute, but this book helps me really think about the ways in which language has been very much part of the modern experiment that has given us things like the modern patriarchy and the modern white supremacist vision, and all the different ways in which the world as it is rooted in this sense of language is so incredibly powerful. So sit with that. Language has been granted too much power. You may reject that as a writer, but you're also someone who loves nature, who loves the visual arts, who knows how important it is to feel fully embodied and to experience the world around us through all five senses, through all six senses. Think about that. Language has been granted too much power. And the second thing that we focused on today in the Writer's Circle was the nature of memory. And there's another passage from this book. Remembering is hardly a matter of recalling facts. It is about embellishing traces of an inkling with bits of the plausible. Think about that one. Memory isn't about facts. It's about little bits and impressions, inklings, flashes, feelings, a single sensation. And then we add in the things around it that would have said, oh, right, on that given day, the sky was blue and up was up and down was down and gravity was doing what it was and I was who I was when I lived in that house. We're filling that in with the plausible. What we remember can be very different. So what does it mean if you think about memory in that way? If you're a memoirist, especially if you're someone who writes personal essay, what does it mean to say that memory is hardly a matter of recalling facts? It is about embellishing traces of an inkling with bits of the plausible. I highly recommend this book. I will provide the bookshop.org link to buy it. Bookshop.org is my favorite go-to now that I'm trying to send less commerce to the great direction of Amazon. When I can't go to my own local bookstore, when I want to offer things online to others, I suggest they go through bookshop.org. And if you're interested in joining us in the Sovereign Writers Circle, we meet every Wednesday to write. It is the online community for healers who write and writers who heal, for those who want to pause and have a chance to look within and to consider the things that we might have taken as commonplace, as things we should know, and look deeper and dig beneath. The writer in me sees the writer in you, as I learned from Elizabeth Cunningham, my mentor, and the author of the Maeve Chronicles. Write on, write on. I'll see you next Wednesday.